On this day, October 8, 1927, Chi-Times Radio Broadcasting will be covering the release of The Jazz Singer by Samson Raffleson and Alfred A. Cohn, released on October 6, 1927. The son of a Jewish cantor must defy the traditions of his religious father in order to pursue his dream of becoming a jazz singer. Playwrights used our favorite, In the Good Old Summertime, by George Evans. With drama, music, and romance, this may be the end of our beloved silent film era. We are experiencing rainy weather of 45 degrees with slight winds. Gentlemen, don't forget your overcoats, and ladies, don't forget your halo turbans. Unfortunately, there's a traffic delay on Wilson and Torrance Lane due to an accident between a Model T and a carriage. Hopefully, everyone is all right. On October 7th, the Ian Pennick retired as the first 22 Pirate in the World Series games.
And for our obituaries, Sam Warner, the co-owner of the Warner Brothers, passed away at the age of 40 on October 5th due to pneumonia.
Moving forward, new developments on America's Black News. The country's still swinging to its own beat with music being listened to more than the Model Ts being produced. People have fallen in love with the lyrics of catchy tunes such as Louis Armstrong's Big Butter and Eggman. Can't say the same for every progressive African-American artist. Famed writer and poet Langston Hughes. His poetic styles have suffered from critical backlash for his new novel, Fine Clothes to the Jew. Black critics have been very harsh when it came to the lifestyles of blacks being portrayed in the novel. Pittsburgh Courier calls it a book of poem trash. White critics have had a different perspective, even praising Hughes for once, given that the whites have had a history with ignoring and disregarding much of the works of Hughes. This change of spectrum between the two working organizations has been a new development in the past couple of days, but that hasn't changed the optimistic perspective of Mr. Hughes and his art.
And now for our audience Q&A. I know many of you all are wondering as to what is going on with this new sculpture that is being constructed at Mount Rushmore. Fortunately, Chi-Times has been able to answer your questions by getting in touch with one of the men behind the creation of this new masterpiece, who is Mr. Gutzen Borglum. So we asked him, Mr. Borglum, when did the construction commence? He stated, we started the construction process about 2 days ago, which was the 4th of October. We asked, who exactly is going to appear within the structure? There are rumors circulating that it's going to be of our founding fathers or even a battle scene from the Revolutionary War. He stated, no, there will not be a battle scene from the Revolutionary War. However, 4 U.S. presidents will be sculpted, and they are George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln. We asked, how do you all plan on executing the detail within this colossal sculpture? He stated, well, we plan on using a system of explosive dynamite in order to remove unwanted granite rock. We concluded with asking him, when will the sculpture be completed by? From the looks of our blueprints and design approach, we are planning on having it completed by the year 1941 if all goes well, he stated. Now that Chi-Times has answered the lingering questions regarding Mount Rushmore, co-anchor Angel Mackey will go further into explaining the reasoning behind its creation. Switching gears, we head into a trending and tragic story that has caught America's ears in the past months. We turn to the Bath School Massacre. On May 18, 1927, about 38 elementary school children and 6 adults were feared dead at Bath School after a member of the school board by the name of Andrew Coey detonated dynamite and sharp nail in his truck, which engulfed and collapsed the school structure. Chi-Times was able to get a detailed insight on what viewers witnessed on this disaster while this disaster unfolded. Here's a brief recording of our interview with Monty J. Ellsworth. We asked him, what was the first thing you witnessed upon arriving to the scene? He responded with, there was a pile of children about 5 or 6 under the roof. Some of them had arms sticking out. Some had legs and some just their heads sticking out. They were unrecognizable because they were covered with dust, plaster, and blood. Due to the graphic details provided by Mr. Ellsworth throughout the interview, this was the only part that was viewed appropriate for our listeners. However, this does give us a vivid glimpse of what truly happened on that tragic day. Back to you, Corny.
On to our advertisements. Have you ever found yourself missing out on the latest trends? Well, the Sears Roebuck Company has just released new additions to their catalog, including new items in their Gifts from the Orient, with a new theme from Asia. Items come at astonishingly low prices, like their lacquered cigarette chest, finished in red Chinese lacquer gold, comes with 2 chests and a large tray is affordably priced at $2.69. Looking for a bolder statement? Then look towards their array of conversational pieces like their Chinese brass bowl, a perfect counterpiece designed with dragons and oriental patterns. It comes with a black stand. Now get yours as low as 98 cents or up to $1.98. Other steals include their various ashtrays, jewelry boxes, wind chimes, and more. Get your collection of Asian novelties in your next visit to the Chicago Sears Roebuck department store, or order it with their fall and winter edition of their catalog.
Earlier this week, the Mount Rushmore project began, featuring the faces of our most influential presidents, Washington, Jefferson, Roosevelt, and Lincoln, intended to inspire us as a nation to continue through their visages. Historian Doan Robinson hoped for this project to last through generations. Related news having inspired the Black to Africa movement and President General of the Universal Negro Improvement Association, Marcus Garvey has been deported to Jamaica due to mail fraud charges connected to the Black Star Line stock sales.
The economy today has been much aware. Not much has changed over the past couple of months as we steadily reach the close of this year on similar margins as last year. Now, many experts are suggesting that some of the small changes are due to the work of Henry Ford closing up production of the Model T in his factories months ago, causing the dip in the market. The reason is simply to make way for his new proposed automobile that will be announced later this year. Other major sources show that the effects of the U.S. versus Trenton Powder case are still relevant in the decline of the economy due to the 23 corporations that conspired to fix prices that went against the Sherman Act. Even though their prices were reasonable, lawmakers still have to consider its legality and go in favor of the U.S.
And now switching gears to foreign news on Chinese attacks on foreign shipping. A concerning issue that has been brought to America's attention is that China has reportedly been attacking foreign ships approaching Chinese waters. Due to these actions, American markets based in China may be in jeopardy and hurt the flow of product trading. In addition, the autumn harvest uprising, which began on September 7th, has gained momentum due to the leader of Mao Zedong. From the looks of this issue, China is proving to be a major threat to the stability of American-Chinese relations and markets. Let's hope our economy does not take a severe hit due to this.
And now with a letter to our editor, Dear Tiffany and Company. The people demand that the topic of blackface is recognized as a social issue that cannot be ignored. Along with the recent release of the jazz singer, minorities feel as though their voices are being ignored, while under the assumption that we live in a country of equality. Although we still live in an age of unfairness, they hope that possibly we may find sensitivity in our hearts for the good of the nation.
And finally, as our 5 o'clock news coverage is coming to a close, a brief recap will keep you up to date on the latest. We hit bases on the mild weather and an incident on Wilson and Torrance Lane. For sports, again, Kurt Pennock retires. Warner Brothers co-owner Sam Warner has passed away at the age of 40. A new wave of music has taken over the radio. In relation, Langston Hughes' unique poetic style has created quite a buzz within the American public. A featured story on what truly happened during the Basque School Massacre of May 18th. A special Q&A reporting with architect Gutzen Borgelum covered what you need to know about the new Mount Rushmore sculpture being constructed. Our ad break introduced the latest and must-buy products in stores. Going back to Mount Rushmore, a detailed report explains the reasoning behind Mount Rushmore's construction and its current effects. Related news covered the deportation of Marcus Garvey to Jamaica. Experts are seeing a dip in the American economy as well, and what that can mean for you. And finally, foreign relations with China are proving to be concerning due to the autumn harvest uprising and attacks on shipping. This is
Angel,
Cruz,
Cornelius.
and thank you for tuning in on Chi Times Radio Broadcasting.